This is the day that we used to call Black Monday, but the reality is we know a lot of these openings before we even get to Monday. The Jets fired Adam Gase last night. We were expecting the hammer to fall with Doug Marrone. I wonder whether or not in the hierarchy of Shad Khan's wish list, Doug Marrone is high enough that he wants to know he's going to get the guy he wants, whether it's Urban Meyer, and I think it is Urban Meyer 1, Chris.
Right.
Urban Meyer's talking too much to other people for that not to be the presumption. Urban Meyer 1, and then isn't Marrone 2? Is it if I can't get Meyer, I'll keep Marrone? How many guys are there before you keep Marrone? But I think Shad Khan recognizes that you don't throw out the guy you have unless and until you know that the guy you hire is going to be better. And I think that's why Marrone's still on the job.
Well, I understand that. I mean, there's a lot to like about Doug Marrone. You know, again, I don't look at Jacksonville the last few years and look at them and think they're an ill-prepared, badly coached football team. Do I think that, you know, their roster is, you know, in flux? It's young this year. Of course, what did anybody expect from Doug Marrone this year? I mean, come on. Really, what did anybody think was going to happen? So, all right, yeah, I don't know. I do still have faith in him, and I think overall as a football mind, I believe in a lot of the things he believes in, but I don't know. You know, with the way it's looked the last few years, you're going to have the number 1 pick for Trevor Lawrence, and there's guys like we just talked about, Eric Bieniemy and Daboll out there that are going to be hot commodities. You know, you have a chance to kind of get one of those combinations of like, hey, an Andy Reid with a special quarterback, this could be fun to watch. And I think that's got to be, you know, on their radar as well.
Right, but Urban Meyer seems to be at the very, very top, and he would have the ability to hire a GM. I mean, they're ready to give the guys the keys to the car. He's never driven at the NFL level. And you know, a lot of the great college coaches, like look at Nick Saban. I mean, what you do to make you great at the college level may not necessarily translate. For Saban, it was and still is an incredible gift for recruiting, and that's one of Meyer's strong suits. Recruiting. Well, you can't recruit at the NFL level. He's going to have to put an infrastructure in place where he gets players that are good enough that they can be coached by him into superstars. And you know, if he does take the job, this whole Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields thing right out of the gates, Fields is the guy he recruited to Ohio State, but Lawrence is the clear-cut top prospect. I'd be stunned if Urban Meyer doesn't take Trevor Lawrence, and I think for business reasons, the Jaguars need a guy like that who's going to resonate with the fan base and sell very well in England as well when they go over there. Right. But it's just one of the dynamics to consider if Meyer gets the job. But I think they're holding on to Marrone until they know what is going to happen. And because I think there have been times where maybe teams regretted getting rid of a guy before knowing who was going to take the guy's place. You always want to have it all planned out.
Yeah.
And I just think, hey, we're going to fire this guy. Well, who are you going to hire? Well, I don't know. We'll figure that out. That may not be an acceptable position for Shad Khan.
No, I think I hear you. And I think between the Tom Coughlin thing and maybe Caldwell not living up to expectations there, that might have given Marrone a little bit of a fighting chance here, despite his record and everything like that. So that it'll be interesting to see. Again, they were competitive and tough in every football game we saw this year, and none of those games did we ever think they really should win that game going into it. So there is something to be said about that. Marrone's a good head coach. I'm a believer in Jay Gruden as an offensive coordinator. You know, there's things to like down there in Jacksonville to where, if they did stand pat, I don't think it's crazy. And last thing I'll say with this conversation, Urban Meyer would scare me to death. I'm just like ultimate respect. You know, other than Nick Saban, the greatest college coach of our era, no doubt about it. But like, I've seen him in 2 other stories get tired, get stressed out, and leave. So now he's older, and we think that's gonna change. Why? If you hire Urban Meyer as your head coach, you're getting him for 3 or 4 years, and then he's gonna retire and either go on to the next project or he's going to be done forever. And that's to where I would question that hiring just a little bit.
Anthony Lynn's status is, for the most part, unknown because the Chargers have tried to be very respectful. I mean, when you read the tea leaves, I think you come to the conclusion he's going to be fired, and they've just decided to not leak anything, let him get through the season, and then we'll make the official decision and implement it. He's got 1 year left on his contract. That's not much of a buyout. It's a great opportunity for them to go out and hire an A-list coach to work with Justin Herbert, and a lot of the problems with the team fall on Anthony Lynn, period. So I think we can put him and Marrone in the expected to be fired category and leave them there and see how it plays out, Chris.
Yeah, I think so too. It's unfortunate. Man, do I like Anthony Lynn. Man, there's some good things about, their football team and what they've done too. But I think you said it right. I think you look at the way they lost so many games this year. There's no other way than to look at it and just go, well, that's the head coach. The managing of the clock and some of those things and everything like that. Yeah, and then, of course, hey, we had the special teams failures, all of that. And I know that's not all Anthony Lynn, but it's under his watch, and it is tough. There's no doubt about it. And I don't think it helps that you have a guy like Justin Herbert now where, honestly, everybody goes and just goes, whoa, we got something special. Maybe we need to try to go that route with a coach to elevate, specialness into Mahomes and Rodgers-ness to where now we got a guy that takes over football for the next 12 years. And I think that could ultimately hurt Anthony Lynn as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it's just a matter of time. And Marrone and Lynn are the ones we're watching. Another one to keep an eye on, Zach Taylor in Cincinnati. There'd been a report that he's expected to be safe. It's not entirely settled at this point, I believe. He could be back, should be back, would be back. The Bengals don't like to pay people to not work. That's been their MO. So if there's any buyout involved, that benefits Taylor's quest. But 625-1 over the last 2 years, not great. And, I have a feeling he's going to get another year, Chris.
Seems
but
like
there aren't. I'm looking for, where else? And we get a surprise. There was a stretch where we were getting a surprise every year. I don't see one this year, which maybe lays the foundation for a good surprise if we don't see one.
I know. I mean, I don't know. I don't see one out there either, unless you want to throw Mike Zimmer out there again so he could call you or see you at see you at the owners meeting and threaten to beat you up.
You can throw it out there.
No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't disrespect Mike Zimmer like that. I wouldn't do that. So I just having fun. But you're right. I don't know if there's anything out there. I think the Zach Taylor's the one that I look at. And I had heard, too, that if he wasn't let go and stayed there, that, they're going to force changes on the staff a little, too. But you're right. Anything other than that, I don't envision anything else happening, Mike. It could be just all about, the two teams we talked about, fill that Detroit Lions, the Houston Texans, the Atlanta Falcons, and see where it goes.
I think the one team whose fan base would most love to see a change is the Dallas Cowboys, but that's not going to happen either. They're not going to fire Mike McCarthy. But I know Cowboys fans were up in arms yesterday with some of the decisions that McCarthy made as he wrapped up his first season with the team.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.